Okay, today's self-coaching video is for you if you are a boss, have employees, own a business, are a parent, or just have anyone in your life whose feelings you care about. So all of you. So earlier today, I was talking to an employee and they are feeling overwhelmed. And this is someone who I think does a great job. I want them to stay in the business if it's, as long as it's the right fit for both of us. Like, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed. And that is the first problem, right? I don't want them to have a feeling that they're having that I can't control. And so that was the coaching I had to give myself in the middle of the meeting when I felt myself not just brainstorming practically and asking good questions, but actually trying to feed them thoughts to convince them to not be overwhelmed. And so I had to take a minute, in my own head while the conversation was going, and remind myself, my job as a CEO is to understand if any of this overwhelm is because there's actually too much in this role. There are, bottlenecks in the organization that I can take care of for her. Maybe she needs coaching in her role. Maybe the scope of the role has to change, whatever it is, right? Are we in a really busy period? Do we need to hire more people? There are various concrete practicalities that I can address, but that can't just be driven by one person's emotional state and my desire to make that go away, right? I have to look at what is appropriate to the role, what's the scope of it, what are the tasks on the plate of this role, use my best judgment about what is doable and feasible in the role. And then I have to allow her to have her emotional experience, which may not even really have to do with this, right? Could be that's a stressful time for her. Could be she's got stuff going on in her personal life. There's a lot of other things that could also be contributing. So for you, anytime that you notice that in trying to solve a problem, you're not actually paying attention to the practical things you can solve, but you are trying to convince someone else to have a different emotion, you are always going to feel out of control when you're doing that. And it's never going to be effective because you can't control someone else's feelings. So you always want to pull back, look at what practically is appropriate for me to do here, and then bless and release that person to have whatever feelings they're going to have. It's okay for my employee to sometimes feel overwhelmed. That's a human emotion that's going to happen to her sometimes. I also sometimes feel overwhelmed. That's a human emotion that's going to happen to me. My job as a CEO is to help solve that from an operational or structural standpoint if there is an element of that present. But it's not to change her emotional experience or to take responsibility for her emotional experience or to try to convince her to have a different emotional experience than the one she's having. That's her business, and I need to stay in mine.